from Columbia in high definition. This is WIS News 10 Awareness.
It has been a trying time in South Carolina. While we are heartbroken as a community, as a state, and as a nation, hundreds came out to pay their final respects to Senator Clementa Pinckney.
Today, first and foremost, and this week, it's a time of grieving. That's what we're doing now. We're grieving over our friend and colleague, Senator Clementa Pinckney, and his 8 church members. I ask South Carolina and the nation to continue to grieve. I, like you, Senator from Spartanburg, saw the comments of forgiveness from the victim's family. I must confess to you, I'm not there. I couldn't do it. I couldn't forgive him. I don't forgive him. I don't. I can't. I hope I live long enough to be that kind of Christian. But I'm not there yet. I confess to you I'm not.
God took the best of us to teach the rest of us. And I think He taught us to love one another, to be kinder to one another, to always look out for those that need help, to be more forgiving, to be less judgmental. There's so many lessons that I have learned from the life of Clementa Pinckney that I will carry on with me and here for the rest of my life.
Clementa was colorblind. He represented well. He never wanted to be called a politician, only a public servant. The other day, reality hit home in Charleston with me. I went to a restaurant, Saffron's, located near the Gilliard Auditorium, just to have a quick sandwich. And the owner came to me, sat down, said, "Representative, I got to talk with you. Did you know that the late senator came in here a couple of days before the incident, and he asked me to section off a table for his family for Father's Day?" Clementa had an appointment on earth, but God had an appointment for him and the other 8 members in heaven. Always treat people with dignity and respect, because you don't know the hour, nor the day, nor the second you will leave this earth.
And he was a man of God. He was a man of faith who treated everybody the way he wanted to be treated. Representative Neal talked about having lost 2 people in a week. I was at his mom's funeral on Saturday, and I remember talking to Senator Pinckney in the parking lot and getting my usual hug from him. I had no idea that that would be the last time that I would see that smile or get my usual hug.
Senator Clementa Pinckney, he was my senator and my friend. He pastored one of the largest churches in my district. He'd been there for many years, 5, 6, 8, I'm not sure of the years, but we all get to know him and really love him. He was a wonderful pastor and a wonderful person. Many of you don't know, but I do own the barbershop in the town of Hollywood. Clem would come there all the time. He would get his hair cut. We had an agreement. I said, I will continue to cut your hair if you do one thing for me. He said, what's that? I said, now I know that you're aspiring to become bishop. He said, well, no, I don't think so. I said, yes, you are. I know you want to become bishop one day, but whether you become bishop or not, when it's time for my eulogy, I want you to deliver my eulogy. He said, okay, Representative Brown. And when I prepared my will, I prepared my will with the Reverend Senator Clementa Pinckney delivering my eulogy. Never did I ever thought that he would leave before me.
We're going to be staying with our dear colleague and friend Senator Pinckney in 30-minute shifts from 1 to 5 to stand with him and stand by his side as people come to greet him. I think it's a way for us to pay our final respect to our friend and colleague so that he doesn't sit alone.
It's more closure, but a little bit of history too. It's history too, but it's closure to that he's being taken care of and he's in God's presence now.
I'll be 67, my birthday this year, and I've never seen people just come together, all different ethnic races, just come and talk to each other and walk up to you and just start a conversation about it. It's just really overwhelming, and it's a good feeling that we can do that, but years ago we couldn't. But now everybody's grieving and feeling for this family, and that's where everybody we talk to, that's where their heart was.
I was little when Dr. Martin Luther King died, and I would remember that, and it kind of felt like it was back then again. So my heart just got heavy, real heavy.
It's important because this man represents our government, and he was very important. He stood for justice, and we want to honor him and his family because they are the victims here. They've been victimized by this horrendous act.
I just felt something very, very strong in my spirit. I didn't know Reverend Pinckney, but now I've read so much about him, so I felt as though that I, knew him. God has united us together for a reason, and it's just the beginning because we should be teaching our young kids the history from the churches down in Charleston, the historic churches, and I'm learning myself.
It's still new, but I've been placing myself in the environment and to be able to help others because I think I feel like I understand, but I don't accept. And by having that understanding, I can share with others and break some bread of life with some others. There are those that are hurting. There are those that are confused. And with the steps that we take, we can take some hard steps and we can take some good steps. And I believe with some of the things that are coming to be now are some good steps toward a better South Carolina, a better United States.
And during the time I met him, he was so sweet, nice, and humble. I will miss him. He's a good man. But I hope and pray that his family will get strength to carry on. That's what he will want.
And I truly appreciate what he have did for South Carolina, and I just wanted to show that all people love people no matter what terrible things that they do. You still have love in your heart to honor him.
people. But God forgive you, and I forgive you.
Anguished relatives of the victims vented their pain as 21-year-old Dylan Roof stared blankly at a video camera during his first court appearance before a magistrate in Charleston. It was a security camera that police say captured Roof going into a Wednesday night Bible study at the Emanuel AME Church, where investigators say Roof now admits he shot and killed 9 people.
We welcome you Wednesday night in our Bible study with open arms. You have killed some of the most beautifulest people that I know. Every fiber in my body hurts, and I'll never be the same.
We woke up today and the heart and soul of South Carolina was broken.
9 families and a stunned community ended up saying goodbye to their loved ones. 41-year-old Clementa Pinckney was a pastor at Emanuel AME Church as well as a South Carolina state senator. 54-year-old Cynthia Hurd was a manager at the Charleston Public Library. Reverend Daniel Simmons was 74. He was also a pastor at Emanuel Church. Ethel Lance was 70. She'd been a custodian at the church for 30 years, and she sang in the choir. Myra Thompson was 59. She was a former teacher at Burke High School and a former counselor at Brentwood Middle. 49-year-old Reverend DePayne Middleton Doctor was an employee of Southern Wesleyan University in Charleston. Sharonda Coleman Singleton was 45 and worked as a head girls track coach at Goose Creek High. Susan Jackson was 87, the oldest of the victims. Tawanda Sanders was the youngest. He was 26. He graduated from Allen University last year. The incident touched off solemn vigils across the state and across the country. An intense search and alert across the region brought in a tip that led to Roof's arrest in Shelby, North Carolina, near Charlotte. But when Charleston police and the FBI got a hold of him, his whole story made this tragedy all the more gut-wrenching. Online pictures show Roof burning and spitting on the American flag, and a lengthy online rant, apparently written by him, rails against minorities and announces he must take action to keep them from taking over the country. According to investigators, during questioning, Roof told them that he specifically wanted to kill black people to start a race war, and that he picked Emanuel AME because of its long-time historic importance to the community.
It is a hate crime. That's right, brother. And as such, it is a crime perpetuated against the conscience of the country, the soul of the country.
Roof's arrest ended the manhunt, but not the mystery.
We must acknowledge that he wasn't an alien. He didn't come from outer space. He was living in our country, living in our state, and somehow his mind was filled with racial hatred. So one way to respond is we need to seek to understand that. Where is this coming from?
The expressions of condemnation for Roof and support for the victims' families have come from across the country, from President Obama on down to the crowds of people who come to Emanuel AME to offer their support.
These 9 families need us. The Emanuel AME Church needs us. The AME Church family needs us. And the people of South Carolina need us to come together and be strong for what has happened.
At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live. For they are now a part of us as we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
It is time for us to heal. We cannot afford to let our differences divide us. We must remember the tragedy, honor the victims, and move forward together in peace, love, and unity. Until next time, I'm Megan Norman. This is Awareness.